All right, good people. Hey, welcome back, man, for another edition of Kingly Conversations. And here's the deal, right? Something I found out over the last week or so is I Googled Kingly Conversations, and the whole first page is us on Google. Whole first page, man. So my thing at that point, I was like, Mama, we made it.
Hey, can we get some an applause for that, man? That's pretty dope.
I mean, that's crazy. It was crazy. So now we can really say to somebody, if they instead of saying, "Oh, you can look us up on Spotify or Amazon Music or whatever," like, no, just go to Google. Hit Kingly Conversations.
So aggressive.
You know what I'm talking about? Just go to Google, Kingly Conversations. Tell your friends to tell their friends. Tell your enemies to tell their friends. Because we on the whole first page.
Oh wow!
Of
You're
Google.
not lying.
No,
For real.
And just to check, I had somebody who I know doesn't really listen to the podcast. Like they've heard about it, but they don't really listen to the podcast.
So it's
I
not
had
in
them
their
look.
search, yeah.
So it wasn't so.
It wasn't in the history.
And then
of
I
that.
looked from work, and I was like, So a whole first page, good people. So yeah, tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their
That's
friends.
exciting.
It is, right?
That's
It is.
exciting.
It's crazy.
I love it.
So.
Who are you?
Whole first page, man. So I said that to say, I'm not going to tell you where we are anymore. I'm going to just tell you to go ahead and Google that.
GTS.
Just go ahead and Google the Kingly Conversations.
Google that stuff.
You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to come up. Take your pick of whatever link you want to use to listen to it.
Yes.
But now I can safely say that the whole first page on a Google search. Now, I haven't checked Bing, for those of y'all that might use Bing or Yahoo or whatever. But on Google, we are the whole first page. So, this is exciting stuff.
Give them a knife hand.
Knife hand.
Google it.
So anyway,
right.
I'm Alan, of course.
Okay. All right. What up? This is Twine, also known as Alfredo, also known as Twine.
We known as Alfredo. Oh, my Lord.
Sauce.
Hey, that's a good one. I ain't gonna lie to you, that was a good one.
Terrible.
Alfredo.
Oh, my God.
Man, that's for all the people who got my name wrong in life. Is it Alfredo? It's Alfredo. Your name reminds me
It's
of
okay.
Alfredo.
They say my name right. They spell my name wrong all the time.
All right, everybody be quiet. All right, listen. Listen.
Your friend, your mentor, Calvin D. Hill.
Yes.
So stupid. All right. Hey,
What's
since he was talking about Bing and everything else, so I did something and I searched it on Bing, and we are the first two on Bing, and so is Soulfire Clothing.
How is because I do post the podcast there too. I post it on all of the websites that we have control over. So it goes to Soulfire Clothing. It goes to A Shorter Way. So
That is awesome.
I tried to see because I figured the more traffic it could generate, the more it would come up in search engines if somebody look for it.
Man, this dude, he's on it.
He on it.
I mean, look,
Shout out to the administrator.
administer.
Shout out to him.
Oh man,
I love it.
I love it. Orion, that is Huey. All right, let's go.
What up, Orion? Shout out to you.
Oh, go ahead and do your shout outs. You said you had a bunch of shout outs to do.
That was it. My Alfredo joint. I was gonna knock him out with that one. That was my one hitter quitter. I ain't got nothing else. That's it.
Man, the
I'm just
coffee
joking.
makes sense too.
Yeah, it does. I'm on one
Man,
today.
he on one. All right.
Five.
All right, topic.
All right, let's go.
All right, so today, essentially, we're going to be talking about the fact that entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. We live in, and the reason this came up is we live in a world where people always try to say, well, everybody could own a business, and no, they really can't. I mean, physically they can, but the person that they are is not somebody that really is going to be, as they are, is going to be capable of owning, running, and sustaining a successful business. So that's why I said entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. Really, go ahead.
Yeah, it takes a special individual. I think that the spirit of a person has a lot to do with it, because some people don't want to take those risks.
Yeah.
And it's just the fact of the matter is most businesses don't succeed. That's a reality. And it takes somebody with a grit and grind and a hardness to see it through. and to stay with it.
So it's stubborn, essentially.
Yeah, just about.
Well,
Just about.
on the flip side of that, you have to you will probably have to have the passion for it.
Yeah.
Something that you enjoy
Something
doing.
you enjoy doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, because some people don't have that grit. They just have, I just love this. I'm going to do it regardless. And they keep at it over and over until it does become something successful. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's something that you're passionate about? You.
Y'all go ahead.
Man, I mean, so to me, what you're passionate about is what would you do for free for an extended period of time? Because I think especially in American society, we look at our passions, but a lot of times your passions can't necessarily be turned into like if you're passionate about the way your lawn looks. Well, that's your lawn. Are you passionate? Do you have the same passion for everybody's lawn?
You want everybody to look the same way.
You know, or is it just because it's your lawn and you like going out there and looking at your magnificent work? Me personally, I ain't doing nothing in the lawn if I can avoid it. I just ain't. It's not something I enjoy doing. But I do. I knew that I would enjoy doing the podcast because I've always, at least for the last 20 years at this point, felt like I had a voice of value. And, the truth for me is sometimes I would just rail in the dark, so to speak, into just my iPhone thing. And I just record myself talking, or I'd record myself talking and then type that out into a blog. So that wasn't new. The only thing new now is the consistency.
And what you do.
And yeah, because I was the stuff that we talk about, I was already writing. It's just, it's harder for me to write. I do not have a passion
At the same
for writing.
speed.
Yeah, I do, because my mind just moves to, so I can't get the words. Now I could use text to speech, but
That's
back
what I
in the
was gonna
day,
say.
I couldn't use text to speech. So I could use text to speech to do it today. But
Dictation on your laptop.
yeah, now you can.
That's
But
wonderful.
but 20 years ago, I
Couldn't
had
do
to
any of
type
that.
it.
All right, so like you said, the topic is entrepreneur isn't for everyone. So let's identify some things that make an entrepreneur. What are some of the highlights to you, in your opinion?
I'm going to go ahead and jump in this. I wouldn't say that I'm an entrepreneur.
Which is fine.
Yeah, but what do you
But,
think?
I mean-
what would you think? What attributes, characteristics would it take to be one?
You have to have the intelligence for it. I would believe you have to have some knowledge of whatever that thing that you're trying to pursue, and like when it becomes a business, to run it, to understand the things that it takes to run it, the people, like having a team to do such. Even if you don't have the intelligence, you can always go and find people who are smarter than you that can articulate or put together or make work your vision. So it's just a matter of knowing your weaknesses, understanding your weaknesses and your strengths, putting those together, and then also being able to see that in other people, to incorporate that into your vision as far as building something in an entrepreneurial way. Time is going to be something that I think would be important, because the lack of time is going to be opposite of, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be bad for you if you lack the time and involvement in doing so. I would also say that there's levels to it, and I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to just leave it open for y'all to take.
I mean, I think some of the other things are like to be an entrepreneur, really, you can't be somebody who, to me, is concerned about the actual time you stop working. Because the truth is, entrepreneurs are never off.
Yeah.
They're not, so even if you're not, like if you have a physical a location that has a traditional business, has a physical location, even if you're not there, your mind is still on the business, and on how to continue to further the business, or it may have been something catastrophic that happened in the business. And so if you wanted a true separation, so to speak, of work and home life, as an entrepreneur, that's never going to happen, because it's always no matter what you try to do, they're going to bleed into each other, because you may, especially if you have a spouse and children or whatever, because you may, just be talking about something that happened, and then they may give you an idea. So that's why. So it's one of those things where you have to be okay with bringing work home, so to speak. Some people say they don't want to bring work home. For an entrepreneur, that's not really a thing, unless you really just don't want to talk to your family.
So it'd be safe to say that the comfort of the 9 to 5 is out the window.
No, the comfort of the 9 to 5 is definitely out the window as an entrepreneur. Because, and depending on the type of business that you have, and like if you're in the restaurant business, don't.
Oh man, I've heard horror stories.
Yeah, don't count on 9 to 5 unless you are only going to be open like 10 to 4.
But even then, they still working.
Yeah, I mean, because you still got to still got supplies. You still got to pay people and all the other stuff. So you're always going to do more. So if you're somebody that's like, I'm only going to ever do 40 hours a week, even for myself, I'm only ever going to do 40 hours a week and no more, then entrepreneurship is probably not the place that you're going to. You could be an entrepreneur, but it may not be the place you're going to be successful at, because for every person, because the problem is, I think what we see of entrepreneurs is we don't see the grind.
Right.
We see the finished product, because that's when they show up on social media or somewhere else. We see the finished product. We don't see. So one of the because I know a few stories of entrepreneurs, but like E.T., who is a motivational speaker or whatever, a success coach. He was relatively unknown for 20 years, because it's not like what he's doing now. He was new. Right. He was doing that for 20 years, and then somebody recorded a part of one of his talks and put it up on YouTube. Now it's probably him. I don't think somebody recorded.
Right, somebody affiliated with him.
Yeah, somebody recorded it, put it up on YouTube, and then he becomes a worldwide sensation. And he will tell you that the thing that you will never do is outwork him. And that's kind of the mentality. If you want of a successful entrepreneur, is the thing that you won't do is outwork me in the field that if I want to be the best. Now I could want to be middle of the road, and that's fine, because I mean the best might be a very, very wealthy life, and then middle of the road could just be a wealthy life, right? For most people, both of those would be fine. But I think that the comfort of 9 to 5 is definitely
out the window.
Out the window. Now, if you're building, because I mean, think about it. A lot of entrepreneurs start their entrepreneurship part time,
right?
Whether that's maybe they're doing mentoring, or whether they're selling clothes, or whether they're making meals on the weekends and then selling those, that kind of thing. So then it becomes, so you went to work for 40 hours.
Right.
And then you went home and went to work.
And that's hard to do.
It can be, especially if it...
But if you don't have, like you said, if you don't have the passion for it, if you don't have the fortitude and the tenacity to get it done, even when you don't feel like it. Because most of the time, it's easy to do something when you want to do it, you got the energy to do it.
Yeah.
But that kind of drive is a key factor
for an entrepreneur. You got to have commitment.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely you definitely have to. I mean, and one of my mentors said the commitment was doing the thing that you said you would do long after the mood that you set it in has left you. So long after you don't feel like it anymore, you still just do the thing, because you're looking for something greater down the road. You just do it.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What was you about to say? You sure?
Yep.
He was about to say something. As far as entrepreneurship, fear of failing, how does that affect your, like, somebody, because y'all are entrepreneurs, so I'm asking y'all a question. The fear of failing, does that drive you to do, like, not fit? You know what I'm saying? How does that drive you?
For me personally, I don't have a fear of failing.
Okay.
I just feel like I have to do this. Now, does everything that I attempt to do work? No, absolutely not. But I don't have a fear of not accomplishing, or I'm not scared of failing. That's the thing. That's not my concern. I actually have more of a fear of succeeding. I'm actually more nervous of what would happen if it became.
A lot of people have that.
Yeah, that's me. I'm more or less okay, and that's a downfall, and I have to work on that because I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it. I know what's going to happen, but I'm so nervous for that moment.
So does that make you more hesitant to, like, how does that affect you?
Yeah, I think it does. Okay. I think it slows me down.
Okay.
I wouldn't go as hard if I wasn't afraid of everything it's going to accomplish.
All the doors and all the opportunities going.
Yeah, because to have, for me, my personal dream is to have a national nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. So to do that, in my mind already, just saying it, like, I know everything that has to happen. I know the sacrifices. They must be made. And
so the fear of failing is
no. I'm not worried about failing. Yeah.
Right here. Okay, I got you.
And I think
Alan?
as an entrepreneur, as a person who is an entrepreneur, not necessarily somebody who just starts a business, because there are plenty of people who start a business that aren't entrepreneurs. But I think as an entrepreneur, you have to put aside that fear of failing, because the truth is, being an entrepreneur is like being in a pinball machine.
Yeah, you're gonna go.
In that you're bouncing around from failure to failure, but those failures, just like in a pinball machine, when you see the thing bouncing around, as long as it doesn't go into the hole, all of those failures just add to the score and make you a better entrepreneur if you are trying to learn from every situation. So you try something, that didn't work. That didn't work. So now you can figure out one more way not to make it happen. Yep. So don't try that again.
Yep. Or you learn, like you said, you learn something different. Like you learn to market better. Yeah. You learn to plan, organize better. You learn to do. It's constant. It's a constant learning process.
And I think school, at least in the American system, has done a disservice because we equate success and failure as two different things. Like we say, you have a choice. You have success on this hand and failure on this hand, when in reality, success is a straight line on the other side of failure. So you have to go from failure to success. Okay. Because if you look at any entrepreneur you pick them, you're gonna find that they have actually failed more than they have succeeded.
Right.
Facebook was like Mark Zuckerberg's third or fourth thing. Matter of fact, I did a blog post on SoFi Clothing's website. That I did. That's where I post them, and that's exactly. It went through all these entrepreneurs and their failures before they got to the thing that you know them for, and how many times they had failed before they finally succeeded. And Richard Branson, who owns Virgin Galactic, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Records. He still fails today. Like, he tries new stuff. Oh, that didn't work. The only difference is now, instead of it being, you lost 1,000, now you might lose 1 billion. but failure is failure, billion. And it's all relative, right? It's all relative to where you happen to be at the moment in terms of your station in life. So,
I just feel like that for entrepreneurs, you have to be the one to take initiative. You have to have the drive and to go get it to make something happen. To me, if you lose that one element, you're not an entrepreneur. You have to have the initiative. That's all it really takes. I'm going to go do it. I'm not going to wait for everybody else. I'm going to start walking. Mm-hmm. And then people will show up. Yep. So that's really, to me, that's one of the biggest things. You have it in your mind to do something, or you want to see something done, go for it. Don't wait on other people. Just start walking. Just start looking. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Okay, start looking. I'm serious.
And you got to think about it. The truth is, everybody, unless they work for federal, local, or state government, everybody that has a job essentially works for an entrepreneur. Yeah. Because the entrepreneur started the company that everybody works at. Yep. So whether that's whether and it's to some people might say that, well, you're still working for entrepreneurs when you work for the government because it was started by the elites, but whatever. It's always there. It never goes far away.
I tell you what, this is okay. Last night, me and Ashley had a conversation, and it was not even knowing the topic for today, talking about entrepreneurship and starting things, there was a list of things that I said I need to write in a journal, first of all, before let's go. I have to write in a journal because this conversation is making me go back to the conversation that me and Ashley had last night about investing and starting companies. Man, there is a slew of companies and things that I want to invest in and be partners in.
Yeah.
And now this is it's giving me chills, man. It's definitely a sign. It's definitely a sign. But I'm sorry,
But that's what it's supposed to do. That's what moments like this. As long as you're aware of it. To me, you know how many times people bypass it and just miss those moments. Okay, a moment like that happened to me in 2015. I always told my wife I wanted to write a book. I just wanted to do it. I don't know how to. I just want to.
Right.
So I'm sitting at this restaurant called Mama J's in Richmond. Oh my God, it's good. Check it out. Anyway,
Shout out to Richmond.
Yeah.
What up, Toll?
Anyway, oh yeah, Toll. So we're sitting there eating in the restaurant. We're sitting outside, and this guy walks up, and he has 5 books in his hand. And he stops me and my wife. Take me. She's like, "Hey, y'all want to buy a book? I'm a young writer. I'm trying to write a book." And I'm sitting here looking at him. And guess what? The book he had in his hand.
What book?
How to get published.
How to write a book. It was little small book. I said, "Let me get that one."
You'd be surprised how
That's
things
crazy.
happen once you
have it in your,
once you have an intention,
everything
you'd be
will
surprised.
line up. And that's why you should be aware and go for it as an entrepreneur.
That makes me feel good
we
inside.
say everything will line up. Sometimes it does.
If you're looking
for it,
right,
it'll line up.
Right.
Okay, I'm about to say the preparation for it as well. Is there any prep for it, or
No, but
when you
okay,
have-
it was. I just like you said, you were sitting there with Ashley having a conversation,
right?
okay, and so what that did, it put it in the atmosphere that okay, this is something that he's going to do. This is okay, so let's help him out. He don't know where to go. All right, let's start lining some stuff up. Now he got to catch it. You got to see it. You got to be aware. You got to be in those moments.
Okay,
That to me, that element as an entrepreneur, you have to have that element.
got it.
So here's the crazy thing. So I called the attorney last week. Well, the law firm last week because I wanted to ask because I was like, I'm looking at because one of the things that I am looking at doing is figuring out a way that we can equitably incorporate Kingly Conversations. Because what I don't want to just have it as a DBA under Shorter Way to Success LLC, because then that excludes anybody that's not a part of Shorter Way to Success LLC. But what the attorney told me was that he said that, and this is in Virginia. Don't take this as legal advice, people. Can't speak for any other states. But he was saying that, well, an LLC can be a member of another LLC. So I was like, oh, so what we could do, I hadn't talked to either one of y'all, but is everybody have their own LLC, and then those LLCs come together to form Kingly Conversations LLC. Now, it makes taxes more difficult, which then will, but you can write that off on your tax return anyway. So you can write tax preparation services off.
The
when you're a business
mastermind.
owner. So because I was just thinking about it, because it also makes it easier that if we partner in other things, then you just partner as your LLC. You don't have to.
Orion Goss. This is why his name is Huey. You see how he just put that together so beautifully.
I mean, I'm just saying. I don't, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, my last name is pretty. I can pretty coolly, easily use it. Shorter Way to Success LLC. So it just works. But y'all would have to. Y'all could be intertwined LLC.
He'll
that's
be
it.
Alfredo.
And then they could be City on a Hill LLC or something. I don't know. I just like having my last name on stuff.
You in my box. Get out my box.
City on the Hill, LLC. See, he didn't come over there. But I just be throwing names out there, boy.
Get out my box.
I tell you, boy, that boy good.
He been reading my journals.
I like it. So, in regards to entrepreneurship, is there a plan B, or in pursuit of what you're trying to do, would somebody say, for example, I don't know the ins and outs of entrepreneurship?
I have a hard, for me, plan B, there is no plan B, but to other people, if you have more than one endeavor, that's a plan B to them. To me, all of it runs together. Mm-hmm. Every endeavor, every nonprofit, every for-profit, every business, every book, all of it runs together. So it's not a plan B. This is the life I have to live. This is the life I have to build. So I don't see it as a plan B.
Yeah, and I don't think I think that, at least mentally, even like Calvin was saying, there really isn't a plan B mentally. Now that doesn't mean you're not doing other things to make sure that your family is taken care of while you're working on all the things that you want to work on. But mentally, so one of my other mentors, I got a bunch of people that I call my mentors. Half the time I've never spoken to them. I just sat at their feet.
That's still a mentor. That's valuable.
But what he said was, he was talking about how he was talking about how you have burners on the stove, and he was saying that that most people, when they have a business, their job is on the front burner and their business is back here on the back burner, and they kind of get to it whenever they can. But he was like, most people are already working just hard enough so they don't fire you at work anyway.
Right.
So just switch those burners, because you're already not.
You're not doing your best.
You're not doing your best at work. Now, for some people, they are doing their best. But, for those that, if you're not doing your best, if you know you could be doing more, then just switch those burners. Mm-hmm. So, yes, so I would say that I would say that in my 8-hour workday, do I work on non-work related stuff? Absolutely, I work on my business during work. Even if it's just something as simple as pulling out my phone and adding another note to our list for Kingly Conversations, or putting up a Facebook post, or putting up an Instagram post.
I think I can. I'm a little different on that.
But you also don't work in an office,
right? And that's what I was gonna say. Because of what I do, I wish I could. That would be nice, but
you technically. If you can have your phone, you technically can.
No, I can have my phone, but it's because of the way my mind works.
Yeah.
I have to do one thing at a time, and I have to. That's the downfall.
That's the problem. That's the way my mind works. I have to do it when I'm thinking about it.
Exactly.
That's that OCD.
Yeah, I have to do this right now, and then once I'm finished doing this, then once I have a moment, I can do something else. But I have to stay focused on what I'm doing. Or I'm gonna tear something up. I'm gonna miss something. I'm gonna tear something up. I'm gonna miss a detail.
Yeah.
So that's me.
I mean, now, that's understandable. Respectable.
Also, as an entrepreneur, you need to be an administrator.
You got to be. Initially, as an entrepreneur, you're gonna have to be everything.
You got to
be janitor,
everything.
You the administrator, you bookkeeper. you are the marketing expert. You are the
with no marketing background.
No marketing background. Look, you are all things to the business initially till you get to the point where you can hire somebody to do those.
So let me ask you this: did those challenges excite you or make you feel less than or depressed or get you down? When you face those, how do you feel? Because I know for me, when those different challenges come up, I actually get excited because then I have to create something because I don't know. I'm very honest. I don't know. So now I have to figure it out. That to me is the best part about being an entrepreneur.
So for you, putting the pieces together,
man,
as they lay. I mean, not as they accumulate to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's fun because I get to create it. I get to manipulate it and work. Oh, did that work?
Man, we're gonna put a jar right here.
So I get to put my hands in it and use my mind to develop it. That's something that I do enjoy. I enjoy it. That's one of the main reasons I like starting businesses. And writing, I like it.
Okay, great, fantastic. I think that certainly is the truth, that you do have to get some excitement about trying to go through new things. Now, I will say, at a certain point, only you can decide when this is. You have to decide when it's more beneficial to hire somebody else or to pay somebody else. I won't even say hire, but to pay somebody else to take something off your plate. Like I was looking at with all the video that we have for Kingly Conversations, I was looking at, well, should I just pay somebody?
I think,
typically for me, it's going to be a college student.
Stuff.
Somebody that needs to work on their portfolio anyway, to chop up all the video and edit it, get it, looking real nice, professional, exciting, and then I just pay them to do it, and then it frees up my time to continue doing the other stuff.
Let me know when you find that person.
Well, yeah.
'Cause I need a lot of that done.
So that becomes the problem is so you have to pick your battles, even an entrepreneur, of whether you're going to do it or whether you're going to invest money in someone else doing it, and only you can decide when that is, because you have to decide. Like last year, because I was using a website called Fiverr to do a lot of my T-shirt designs. I would tell them conceptually what I wanted, and then they would go and design it, because I lack the ability of an artist.
You don't have that.
I got an F in art in middle school, so I really do lack that ability. But I can tell you what I see in my mind, and then I try to find somebody that's good at putting it on paper. So I contracted a graphic designer for a year to do designs for me. Now the contract was only for a year, and then I could decide if I wanted to renew or whatever. But I was willing to bear that expense because I wanted the stuff that was on the site to have the same look and feel. I wanted it to feel like the same hand designed all of these items, instead of having it be, well, this looks like this, and because I was like, well, if you see one Calvin Klein shirt, you kind of know.
You can see how the rest of them
pattern.
Yeah,
you know what the pattern is for all the brands that you follow.
Right.
So I wanted that same type of thing for Soulfire clothing, but I had to decide to bear that expense, and that's where, because I knew that I didn't have the expertise. If it was just letters, sure, I can do that. But once you start talking about adding graphics, like, to the my home shirt that has the continent of Africa on it, or whether it's the Women of Virtue series that has, a lady's face on it and the words in her face, I couldn't do that on my own because I tried. It did not work out well.
So if you had to advise a new entrepreneur, somebody they say they want to start something, they want to do something, give them two things to start with. What's two important things, two major things, or three major things you can think of that you would say, hey, do this, this, and this?
The first thing I would say to do, and I'm sure everybody's going to have their own list. I would say incorporate early, because if nothing else, it gives you all the tax benefits. So when you start actually spending money, maybe talking to to mentors and all this other stuff, if you don't have a business, you cannot deduct those expenses. Whereas if you have a business, anything you spend for the business on your education can be deducted on your taxes. So I would say, if you know you want to start a business, you know the type of business you want to start, before you do anything else that's going to cost you money, incorporate. Now, if you're going into it with other people, that may be more difficult, because then y'all got to settle on, who owns what percentage of the business and all of that. But if you're doing it by yourself, I would say incorporate. And I really would say that everybody should, even though this is how entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, I would still say that if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, just incorporate yourself. Get you a personal LLC. That way, any business ventures that you think you want to do, whether you want to put $1,000 into someone else's business, you can do it as the LLC. And then it gets you what they call this corporate veil, where as long as you're not doing something egregious, if somebody sues the business, they can only really sue the assets of the business. They can't sue you personally. So that's why I would say the first thing I would do is put that wall up and incorporate, because it gives you far more benefits than the cost that it is.
2.
The second one is whatever it is that you want to do, find someone that's done it. Find an expert that has done what it is that you want to do, and then research how they did it. That's what because you may think you have an idea that's going to work, but if you execute it wrong, it could be a fantastic idea, but not execute it well. So essentially, find a mentor.
All right, 3.
Oh, it's 3?
No, the next one.
Oh,
that was two. That was two.
Okay, so I would say incorporate, find a mentor, and then I would say you need to now you don't need to decide this early on, I guess, but you do need to decide what your zero is, and by zero, I mean how are you going to know when this is no longer a direction you want to head. You need to, because you need to know what your IQ is, or your I quit level, as we used to call it. You need to know where that is, and if there isn't one, that's fantastic. But you need to know that nothing can happen to make me stop doing this. Like there is other than somebody patting me on the face with a shovel, there's really nothing that's going to stop me from sitting in front of this microphone at some point. I mean, I can set this microphone.
Know
up.
when your quit is?
I quit. What your I quit level is?
Know when your I
Know
quit.
your limit.
Yeah, essentially know your limit. No limit. But so, but that's
your three.
That's my three, because I think those have been the most important for me, because incorporating, like I said, as far as the state is concerned, until you incorporate, you don't have a business anyway. As far as the state is concerned, and even at federal level, I mean, you don't have a business. So you still need to go register something, even if you just register as a sole proprietorship, which I would not do. You are fully liable for anything legal as an individual. You are fully liable for anything if somebody sues your business.
Okay. Calvin, are there any more tips you would like to add to that list?
If I had to give three, I would say find your team. I would say one, find your team. Find the person or persons that is going to help you in the business.
Okay.
That way you have somebody to be accountable to. You have somebody to pick you up. There's a scripture in the Bible that says if one man falls and he falls by himself, basically, I'm paraphrasing. This is not the scripture. So for y'all.
Oh, these scholars going to come after
these
you.
scholars.
They're going to come after you. They're like, that's
so
not what it
basically,
said.
if you're by yourself and you fall, you have nobody to pick you up.
Well, that's true.
But if you're with somebody, you have somebody to help pick you up.
Okay. So find a team.
That's
Gotcha.
the find a team.
And for those of you that don't want to listen to what he said because he said that it was scripture, Jay-Z said, if everybody in your clique is rich, your clique is rugged. Nobody will fall because everyone will be each other's crutches.
That's a bar.
I just know that some people need other sources.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
It's the same principle.
Same
it's
principle.
the principle. That's what it is.
Yeah.
All right. So that
Look at these
also
principles, Thomas.
take the time to plan. Take the time to plan.
Mm-hmm.
And most people can't or don't understand making a business plan, but the bottom line is plan how you're going to make the money. Because that's what it is. That's the most important thing is how you make the money.
I mean, even for a nonprofit, because you got to.
Yeah,
nonprofit has to stay in
had I
business.
known, listen to me.
Got to stay in business.
Listen to me. Had I known
Listen,
and understood,
I get it. Because as a nonprofit, you like, well, we're doing this to give back. But if you don't have a business, the business can't give back.
So you have to plan to make money. I don't care what you do. Plan on making the money and write it down. Have that clear. And finally, have an operations manager. That will be like the big part for me.
So find a manager.
Yeah, operational manager, somebody, executive, somebody that's going to execute your vision.
Make sure you can pay them well now.
Well, yeah. However it is,
Don't be out here paying people $7.25 an hour, thinking they're gonna manage your business.
But they're going. But seeing that, I've learned this too. Hiring people or asking people to do different things, you have to look at how people handle their own life.
Yeah,
Because they're not going to handle your business too far off from that. And it's not theirs, so they're going to handle it 2 steps under you. It's just like the law of leadership, the law of the lid. If you're on a 8, expect no better than a 7. Better than a 7.
Yeah.
Don't even expect it.
I mean, and that's true. I mean,
So that's
nobody's gonna go harder for your business.
Exactly. So if you conduct your business kind of halfway, don't expect anybody else to go all in.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So those are my 3.
Well, in closing, I would like
There you go. Wrap it up.
In closing, for all those out there that's teetering on the fence, as I am, I would recommend taking the time to these steps that these gentlemen just went over. I mean, they're great, they're awesome. In regards of getting to where you want to be, it all depends on where you want to be. That's a start. Some people are comfortable with 9 to 5, and some people don't want to be working for the rest of their lives and would rather be in the entrepreneurship so they can live life to the fullest without restriction. So I'm definitely going to take heed to some of these things, or actually all the things these two gentlemen had just shared with us. I hope y'all do the same. Keep going, keep striving, and next time I'm gonna have something written in my journal about these ideas I got, man, to get this thing started, man. So I'm excited for the future, man. Love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. What else y'all got?
To me, go for it, man. You got this one life to live. Just go for it. Just try it. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen? Just try it. Fall on your face like riding a bike. Fail until you learn how to ride.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
So one of, I would say, our first mentors was a guy named Jim Rohn. And about entrepreneurship,
Shout out to Jim Rohn.
Shout out to him. Rest in peace, sir. I don't know this rest in power thing, but, rest in power. Whatever. Rest in. You finish the sentence. But one of the things he said about entrepreneurship is he said wages make you a living, which is fine. And he said profits can make you a fortune, which is super fine. And you can live both fine and super fine. Both of those are okay. And because you now have the mechanism and the ways and means to live fine and super fine. And you have to understand that again, this is okay. We're not downplaying any of it, but you have to understand that if you are working for someone else, then your job is essentially buying you at wholesale and selling you at retail, because your job has to make more on your production than you do in order to stay in business. And if that's okay, and if you're okay with that model, then that's okay. What we're talking about is for those people, and that's why entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, because some people are okay in that model, and that's cool. But for the people that decide that they want to have some type of an entrepreneurial venture, now you have the ability to step onto a different playing field with a different set of rules completely than the one that employees have. So if that's you, hey, we applaud you on your journey. If that's not you, we still applaud you on your journey.
For sure.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, put your soul in it. You.